Hey everyone, today I wanted to share a video on a writing program that we're going to be using this summer. Some of you have asked for a little bit more detail on it. This is from Stone Soup Press. It's called Exploring the World Through Story. And this is a new unit that they came out with. That's a 6-week unit for older beginners, ages 11 and up. It is their writing skills unit. The other units that they have are I think you would use maybe more over the course of a year. We haven't done any of their other units, but they start with level A for the younger kids and they move up, I believe, to level G. And what drew me to them is that their writing is based on the Writing Revolution, which we've been using a lot this year. And when I looked at their program, I would love to start like with the younger levels. I wish I knew about it when my kids were younger. They start with things like Trickster Tales and things like that, and then move up to longer novels and things. But it wasn't something that I felt comfortable that we could just jump in at level G, not having done any of the others. So I was really excited to see this come out. It's a 6-week course, which for us is perfect to implement this summer. So I'll just show you a little bit more about it. You get the instructor's guide and the student work text, and I believe this was $50. I think it was on sale. I'll link it down below. And then I had to purchase from eBay this book to go with it, which is Best Loved Folktales of the World by Joanna Cole. So that I purchased, I think it was $4 or $5 on eBay. Let me start with the instructor's manual here real quick. They just go through and give you the components of the program so you understand all the components and why they're important. In the student work text, it's really written to the student, and you see what they have as far as their checklist. It gives them study notes, their reading assignment. There's a spot for them to work on any vocabulary words that came up in the reading that they didn't know. There's a writing assignment, and then they have dictation and memory work. And this really kind of goes through and tells you how these are included, why they're included. And I think that that's important because I think a lot of times, depending on what your homeschooling style is or background, some of these things you might just kind of be like, that's not important, or that's busy work. But you can kind of see if you read through this, why they're including them, why they're important. Memory work specifically, it talks about why they include memory work in each lesson because it really helps provide students with spaced retrieval practice to help them retain the information that they've learned. And it talked about how, somewhere in here, it talked about how important that was to have that information in their memory to kind of free up when they're writing, to free up some space in their working memory. I don't remember where I read that now, but I thought that that was helpful to kind of let you know that information so you're not tempted to like skip things. And then they give you a blank planner page, some checklists for you as the instructor, basically what you're going to need to do before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. And then it gets into the very first lesson. And the first 2 lessons in this program, the students are actually doing just an oral narration. And then it's in lesson 3, they start actually writing. And so you kind of see what your student's going to be working on their own, and then what they're doing with you. It gives you some information on the writing assignment that they're doing. It gives you the dictation and the memory work to do with them. And then it moves on to lesson 2, which again is another oral narration. And the other thing I like about this program is that each week they're just short reading selections. You're not trying to get through a whole novel or anything. So I think the very first lesson they are reading The Hare and the Tortoise and The Fox and the Grapes. So very short reading selections. This program really builds and has scaffolding in place to get them to the end where they're writing an expanded paragraph. So let me show you the student work text so you can see how that's laid out. Let's see. Okay, so here we are with lesson 1. And you can see here's it's telling them what they're going to do on their own, what they're going to do with the instructor, and then it gives them these study notes that explain a little bit. Like this one talks about the course in general, that they're using folk tales, talks about the oral storytelling tradition, talks a little bit about fables, and then tells them a little bit about the fables they're going to read today. There's a spot here for them to write down any new words that they come across. And then it gives them the writing assignment here, which, as I said, in the first 2 lessons is an oral narration, but it kind of walks them through how to go about doing that. And then it moves into their dictation and their memory work. And like I said, lesson 2 is another oral narration. And then when you get into lesson 3, they're now they're going to start narrating in writing. And it kind of takes them through analyzing the plot of the story by using the somebody wanted but so then. And so they do that for the first part of their story. It gives them these little kind of graphic organizers to fill out. And it takes them through. And then they have their dictation and their memory work. And then lesson 4, they kind of review the previous lesson that they went through the 3 acts. And they're expanding on that. It looks like they're taking Act 1 and expanding it from the previous day. Anyway, so each week it gets, it just builds on the week before. As we get further back in here, let me find, here they're getting into sentence combining, they have sentence expansion, and then as we get even further back, they're doing a simple paragraph, and then as they get towards the end, they're expanding that simple paragraph. And then I believe the very last, the very last lesson, lesson 24, they're revising and editing their expanded paragraph. So I really like the kind of slow building approach it takes through each week. I like that it's written to the student with parent support. And like I said, we have not used this yet. We bought this to use this summer, but I think that it's going to work really well. I like that we get to look at some different folk tales and things that maybe we haven't read before, and some fables. I think that my daughter will really enjoy those. So I think that's kind of the gist of it. If you... Oh, also in the instructor's guide, I can't remember if I showed this, but in the back, it does give you an appendix of how to implement the memory work, which I think is helpful. And then it also gives you all of the memory work in question and answer format here. So that's helpful as well. There's not a ton to the instructor's manual, but there's enough. So yeah, I think it's going to be really good. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to you. I will link their webpage down below. I'm not affiliated with them. I just am excited to try their program because I think it looks pretty cool. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of a sneak peek to help you make a decision on whether that's something that will work for you. If you have any questions, let me know down below.